From Variety, celebrating more than 118 years covering the business of entertainment, this is the Award Circuit Podcast. Hacks just ended its Season 3 run, and it was well worth the wait. Not only did the strikes impact the show's return, but so did a health scare that forced star Jean Smart to take a breather. And she still feels really choked up about it, even as she's consoled by co-star Hannah Einbinder.
Well, I just felt so bad that I put everybody out of work for 3 months.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone cared about anything.
Well, because I feel the responsibility, of the whole group.
Yeah, but everyone just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Yeah.
Which she is.
I'm Michael Schneider, and on this episode of the award-winning Variety Award Circuit Podcast, we talk to Jean Smart and Hannah Einbinder about this winning season of Hacks and that finale, which posted on Thursday and now sets up an even more delicious Season 4. Also on this episode, the Roundtable discusses the drama acting categories and who's on tap to get a nomination. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. Stay close. Hello, everyone. It is the Roundtable here at Variety's Awards Circuit Podcast. Nominated once again, FYC, for an LA Journalism Award Press Club. We're going to kill the competition.
It's called conflict of interest. I like it.
It just means we're the only award show about awards nominated for the press club. So suck it, everyone else.
That's right.
I'm Variety TV editor Michael Schneider, sitting here along with Emily Longaretta, Jazz Tanke, and Clayton Davis.
I'm sorry, EE cover star Emily Longaretta.
Exactly.
Well, not star.
Queen.
I mean, we did have another issue just come out with the amazing Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. No big deal that we sat down with. And
Why isn't Ewan aging at all?
I mean, I will say I was like mesmerized by him.
He's like in his 50s.
And by
he
her,
looks phenomenal.
the most in love couple. I don't know if I've done like a sit down with a couple in a long time. And they were like, you would have thought that they had gotten married yesterday. They were all over each other.
I love that.
I loved it. I love
What's love like? I don't know.
Also, take it outside. It's like you're on working hours right
Get
now.
a room.
I don't mind. I'm into it.
Well, good on them. Good on them. We stan a happy couple.
Yes, we do. We love love.
Yes, we do love. And we love Emmys.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. So it was a long weekend. I hope you all had a good long weekend. I mean, it was sort of a long weekend, right, Emily?
Mike and I did some work yesterday. We came into the studio. We had some work to do, and it's all right though.
But keep your eyes peeled for our crack analysis of some of the major Emmy categories.
By the end, I will say Mike and I forgot how to speak. Yeah. We were both slurring and mispronouncing everything more than usual on my end.
Yeah, it wasn't even elementary. It was just...
No. Well, to be fair, Mike wrote up the scripts for this and gave me every difficult name. He was like, a Shogun person? I'm giving it to Emily.
Oh my goodness.
So every time we had to pause, even though I had looked them up ahead of time to prep, and
I'm sure
still
one name you
messed
could
them
nail. Mariska Hargitay.
That's right. It is Mariska.
Mariska.
Yeah.
It is Mariska.
There you go.
It is, yes.
I never knew that.
Should we just do a whole episode one day of like how to
because
pronounce
that means
names?
we're encouraging people to change their names late in their career.
True. This is true.
And people did that. Brendan Fraser, Kate Blanchett.
Yes.
Blanchett. Yeah, which is something.
I always feel bad because I consistently murder Giancarlo because it's not Giancarlo Esposito. It's Giancarlo Esposito or something.
Wait, what?
He was born in Italy, so I'm sure he's
well, he doesn't
very
live in Italy
Italian
now.
way.
I remember like years into him being a superstar, he finally said, by the way, everyone's pronounces my name wrong. That's okay. I'm good with it. It's like, well, tell us.
Why didn't you tell us that years ago?
Actually, that happened to me. John Lithgow, not Lithgow.
Oh,
I
yes.
learned that this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very troubling.
No, it's always been John Lithgow, no?
I was
always said Lithgow.
I was saying Lithgow for a good amount of time.
Well, I will
This
say,
is Reading Rainbow.
Shout out to the actors who correct you in private and not on stage at a panel, which has happened to me before.
Yes.
Even though I looked it up, but then got nervous and mispronounced a name. I won't call them out in person.
Yeah.
They know who they are. And
you know who you are.
It was very disheartening because it was one person that I really liked. And then I was like, I think a little less female.
Thanks, Emma Stone.
But
It's Emily Stone.
It's Emily Stone.
Right?
I was going to say
She's
it's
gonna
Emma
change that
Stoney,
soon.
but
It's going to happen soon.
Well,
Speaking of Emma Stone.
Speaking of Emily Stone,
because
Mariska.
that's been a thing, right? I mean, she's talking about how, her real name is Emily Stone,
Yeah.
and I think she's now finally kind of starting to...
She wants to go by that. Yeah, because it was when she went and got her SAG card, there was already an Emma Stone, which has been the case for a few people, and they've just decided...
That's why Michael Keaton's Michael Keaton,
yes.
and not Michael Douglas.
And, I mean... Chad Michael Murray went for Chad Murray, and there was already a very popular Chad Murray apparently at the time when he was a kid. And he was like, okay, I'll just go Chad Michael Murray, but I'll still go by Chad Murray. And then when he made his first appearance on Gilmore Girls, the name on the screen was Chad Michael Murray. And so that's when he started doing press for Gilmore Girls, everyone started saying it, and it just stuck, and he got stuck with it.
Oh, wow.
interesting.
See,
Showing random Chad Michael Murray
crazy that SAG you
trivia.
can't have two of the same name, and yet we all exist in this world.
Yeah.
Where there's multiple Mike Schneiders, I'm sure, out there.
There are actually a lot.
I don't know too many Emily Longorettas.
Literally on IMDb, I'm actually Michael Schneider and then parentheses LXI or something like that. I'm
what?
the
I think
20th,
Oh my
23rd.
gosh. There's many
I
of
think
you.
Clayton Davis XVI on IMDb.
Wow.
Yeah, there's Clayton Davis
That's
out there.
crazy.
I'm not sure about
I
Emily
think it's because of The
Longoretto.
Wire, though, mostly. Senator Clayton Davis.
So,
well.
so speaking of actresses, let's talk a little bit about the drama acting categories this week. And obviously the shakeup that took place because Shogun is now a drama series means that there's also some shakeup in the acting categories as well.
Yeah.
But why don't we look at some of the front runners first off in drama actress, because Morning Show, guys, it's back. Jenna Aniston.
Yeah. I mean, are
And
we
Reese.
going to
Mhm.
get them for the first time together? Because they've never been nominated together.
I know. And I would really like
Always
to see
separate.
that.
Yeah, I feel like that's possible this
I mean,
year.
we thought it was going to be possible the other two
We,
times,
we will
too.
say that
That's
they're
true.
also, I would say more than ever, Morning Show is pushing FYC. They're
Yeah.
doing, we were,
they can't
another
do it
event
now,
just
then
came
it's
in.
like-
They've been doing a lot of events this year, which is good for them. I mean,
Yeah.
they had a wacko season 3 in a great way
yeah.
that I think,
But we were all talking about it. I feel like more than in past seasons, since maybe the first season.
partially in thanks to John Hamm and that really great sex scene he had with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. John Hamm makes everything better. Everything's better with Ham.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike, do you,
Okay.
Mike, do you know what
Gosh.
Taylor Ham is?
Taylor Ham? No. Is this an East Coast thing?
It is. You guys call it what do they call it? Pork roll?
Pork rind?
No, they call it Taylor ham and cheese on the East Coast.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called out
I think
here.
they call it pork roll
Oh.
here. Whatever.
What is it?
Anyways.
I mean, it's like a type of breakfast meat, and it's
And Clayton
delicious.
just derailed the entire round
you said
table.
you said ham, and it made me think
a
of Taylor Ham.
strange thing.
No. Anyway, Morning Show. Yeah, Jenna Aniston, Reese Witherspoon. I mean, if there's a year for them to get in together, it would be this one.
Yeah.
Anna Sawai, definitely front running at the moment.
For Shogun,
I was actually
yep.
surprised how many people called me to ask me if she was going lead or not.
Hmm.
And then I started thinking about, I was like, is she like kind of a Stradler? And I was like, no, not really.
Right.
It's also because, she isn't in the entire series. No spoiler alert.
Well, and that's where you probably could go either, and that's where you kind of sort of what's the strategy?
Yeah.
And probably smart to go lead in this case.
Yeah. And then Elizabeth Debicki can sit comfortably for a
And
little
supporting.
while.
Yeah.
And supporting for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, in The Crown, there's also Imelda Staunton,
Yeah.
who I assume is safe to say she's going to get a nomination.
I mean, yeah, who didn't get nominated last time either.
I know,
so
but-
I mean, yeah, I think it's safe to say
But
also.
the door is open. I mean, now that you don't have Succession in the mix, that opens the door, especially in some of these categories, for a lot of folks to show up.
Mhm.
So Crown's back. This
Yes.
is where you probably get Carrie Coon from the Gilded Age
Yeah.
to kind of make it into.
Yeah, I mean, with Carrie Coon, well, I feel comfortable with the Morning Show ladies, Imelda Staunton and Anna Sawai, right? Then you have that fluidity. Emma Stone just coming off Oscar win, and nomination, helps her a ton, and it's a freshman series, so we think that should be.
And everyone just loves Emma Stone. I
Yeah.
mean, she's just
It's
a
hard.
delight.
She can do no
and-
wrong.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. I just feel like it's the curse not being an actual drama might hurt that a little bit. Because for me, I forget that it's a drama. Every single time I look at it on the sheet, I actually had to pull it up because I had to make sure.
There is that. I mean, listen, we have that discussion with The Bear, right? Because
Yeah.
The Bear is harrowing comedy. But I think I think enough people, when you go serious, I don't think it's frowned upon as much as, why didn't you go for the laughs? I think, I don't think people are going to besmirch it as much, but I will say that when you have like Maya Erskine, who's also kind of in that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith also, I think, straddles the line a smidge. And then the whole maybe not expected to be returning and what that means for the series, I think will also get some people throwing some votes her way, as well as Ella Purnell, because Fallout is a little funny also.
And Fallout
is very funny.
Fallout, a lot of people are talking about, I feel like.
Oh, it's huge. It's doing so well.
It's so big. Like, a lot of people are watching.
I would say inarguably probably the most watched show, in the running. Like I'm
right. It would be really great if we had ratings from these other networks, but since that's not a thing, I would agree with that. Other than Mariska Hargitay and Law & Order SVU, because let's not forget.
What do we think about Mariska? Is there a chance? Can we get a broadcast?
All I know is that Emily Longeretta will get so much credit for that, man. I've never credited
to be
somebody.
Sent a trophy of some kind.
She needs to thank you on stage.
Right. Just like she did at Power of Women. If this happens, she needs to thank. No, I do think if there's ever going to be a year again where SVU gets the deserving recognition that it should be getting, it's now. I mean, season 25 was really strong. They pushed a lot of people out for it. She's been doing an FYC campaign for the first time ever. I think that's, if there's a year, it's going to be now.
And she was a former mainstay of the category. She was nominated all the time. I remember there was a year, 2009 or 2010. I predicted her to win that year, and it was the year Juliana Margulies won for The Good Wife. Like, I think they would welcome her back. I guess it's just, you have to ask like how many people are still watching Law and Order, and I say watching it in the sense of like I'm watching this for awards consideration,
of course,
and not my name's Emily Longeretta and I just watched this.
Yes, of course.
To go to
I mean,
sleep.
I think that's the thing is, how many voters are watching it?
Yeah.
The other network show to keep an eye on is Carrie Preston and Elsbeth.
Yes.
And, it's a part of a long lineage of love for the Good Wife, franchise. And Carrie Preston, people do adore as well, sort of at that same sort of Mariska style love. And, I think people are really rooting for broadcast to still sort of make some sort of appearance.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
People like that show too. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels, it's happy. It's, I don't know.
Did it make your top 100 shows, Mike, on your list this year?
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in there? So, that's actually interesting because like the whole Good Wife universe, which is like, you never could have told me there'd be like a whole like various spin-off of this one show. We got The Good Fight, and then now we have Elsbeth. And Carrie Preston also having a good year film-wise because she was great in The Holdovers. But I just go back to like Christine Baranski couldn't even really get in for The Good Fight.
Yeah.
And she's like royalty in Emmy land. But I think this whole lineup is, I was having an argument with someone about this, about genre TV, and they were saying that like, you don't have to just have one. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But when have we gotten that much over? And people will say last year with Last of Us and House of the Dragon, but I feel like that's an exception, not the rule.
Right. I agree.
So, and there's also Three Body Problem that, that may or may not be renewed.
I don't know if I see Three Body Problem breaking in.
Yeah, that's one that feels like the buzz is off a little bit. We're focusing on other shows probably.
Yeah. I mean, that is the show. If it was at anyone else but Netflix, we wouldn't be having the conversation. I'd be like, no, it's not in.
Right.
But because it's Netflix and
and because it's the Game of Thrones guys. I think that's what it is. That's the other thing is people hear Game of Thrones from Game of Thrones creators and they're like, wait, what is it? So
I don't know. I feel like people didn't really I thought that was one show that was going to take off, and it didn't really take off. I think if anything, it will do well in crafts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's such a complicated show, and that's part of the problem. Is if you're not familiar with the source material, then you're
anything.
You're like, what's happening?
It's like the first season of Westworld. Like it is so dense, and it's like I tried for a good. I think I was like 4 episodes in, and I was like, I still don't know anyone's name. Like I can't. Yeah. Like it's really hard to follow. But Three Body Problem, similar to more so for the morning show, I was thinking the morning show having this kind of like open field to just run away with getting a lot of nominations should also be wary of getting a lot of nominations because listen, we're talking about Jen, Reese, then we have all the supporting men, John, Mark Duplass, and it goes on. There's multiple guest stars. We could get into some Handmaid's Tale territory. This show gets like 20 noms. What is it really contending to win?
Right.
It's all will rest on the shoulders of Billy Crudup.
Right.
Be like,
Right.
Yeah.
please do it.
Well, and that's, I mean, wouldn't you rather have all those nominations though than not? Because even though it's a long shot to get many of the major ones, at least you get a serious haul of nominations, and that's a win for a show like the morning show.
It can be, but then you're the Handmaid's Tale and you go over 21 and you're the biggest like loser in history.
Yeah, but at least they already have Crudup,
but
like you mentioned, so they've already
I'm just in a single year, but no, I think it'll be interesting to see if the morning show, if this is potentially, this also goes with our slow horses discussion, is this Yellowstone Fever Part 2,
right.
And we think it's bigger, and it just isn't.
Well, you bring up Slow Horses, so why don't we get to the actors now? Because Gary Oldman, obviously, Slow Horses is a show that has been around. This is season 3, but it's never been any Emmy attention whatsoever. But suddenly this year, it's in the conversation, and in a big way. I mean, Gary Oldman is a front runner.
Well, I think with Succession gone, I think it's that whole thing where it's just cleared up a lot of the categories where somebody like Gary Oldman was like out there. But I also feel like this is a show that picked up steam between season 2 and 3. Like there were very few people watching it from the beginning.
It's that slow burn of an Apple TV show where sometimes it takes a while, unless it's like a Ted Lasso that's just out of the gate huge. It takes a while for people to find those Apple shows.
Yeah.
And this is one where it took a couple years for people to realize it wasn't about horses.
Yeah. But it was a slow horse in the race.
It was about horses, and they weren't fast or slow.
No.
Yeah.
Literally a slow horse in the race. I think Jazz just won.
Yeah.
I mean, and Gary has been so beloved for so long, I feel like, but never gotten the besides like his friend's guest spot, like never got the Emmy
It's
love.
a long
never
time
got
ago.
yeah,
Like people don't like
over 2 decades. Like it's been a long time.
Yeah, and the Emmy people, they're like, listen, you're a film guy coming into our territory.
Yeah.
There is that little bit of an air. But Gary Oldman has the most potential to be kind of like that Elizabeth Olsen, Love and Death red herring. That like I'm like, there's no way that they miss, and then one day the whole show is just not there. And then you're like, oh, okay, I guess it wasn't a thing. So, but that's because you have double Shogun guys, Yuki Sanada and Cosmo Jarvis, who I think are going to kind of battle that out. And then Dominic West, who's in the Melda Staunton boat, was supposed to get in last time, didn't get in last time, not campaigning as much as
I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah, he's been a little quiet out
It's just
there.
been so long since it's aired that gosh, it just
Actually,
seems
it was
like it was
December, which February, wasn't it? The part 2. When did part 2
a
come?
long time ago.
Oh yeah, it is in TV world. It is.
And that's where like maybe you get someone who's a stalwart, beloved, but hasn't really ever gotten much attention, which is Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
Who finally, as the lead of Fallout,
Icon.
this could be the moment
Loved.
also where people say, you know what, this is a career nomination.
Sure.
It's overdue. You've done some incredible work, of course, in Justified and so many other projects through the years. So time to get Walton some love.
Also one of those that I think probably would have fared better in a supporting race. I was actually, as you watch the show, he's a straddler for sure. But it's interesting to see him and Aaron Moten both separated because I think they have about equal screen time there. But then you have Donald Glover, who I didn't realize is kind of like an Emmy staple because he got nominated last year, people, like, which I forget all the time for writing Swarm.
Of course.
So he's gotten in a bunch, and I think he could get in again, but then he's going to battle it out with Tom Hiddleston for Loki, who I believe it's one thing to be WandaVision and be like, I can't believe this is superhero genre because it's moving and stuff like that. And then there's the current state of Marvel television that is you're connecting to a universe that maybe we're not paying attention anymore.
Yeah, I just feel like no one talks about Loki.
Not like season 1. Season 1 we were all talking about, and it was great. Season 2 kind of fell off a little bit. Another show that I don't feel like we talk about, but yet it's got star power again, is Colin Farrell and Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar, we don't really, that's not a buzzy show, but Colin
again,
Farrell,
it's
of
that
course,
Apple TV Plus show that it's like, are people watching it? Maybe. We don't know. People aren't talking about it, but it had a crazy twist, and it is Colin Farrell, and he's really
That's
good.
true. And they are talking about that twist.
He, I would say initially at the beginning, I thought he felt like Matthew McConaughey in True Detective a little bit. Like maybe that would come, but then I remember that Colin Farrell was also in True Detective. One of those anthology seasons,
one of those.
and he didn't get in for that time. So I'm actually in agreement with you guys. I don't think a lot of people are watching Sugar, but I would watch out for a Morgan Spector in the Gilded Age, who is probably of the lineup, and I'm saying this with the most love and respect, the least famous of the lineup.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people know who Morgan Spector is.
I mean, he and Nathan Fielder are, because Nathan Fielder, of course, is in the mix too. And people who know Nathan Fielder love Nathan Fielder. And so that could be a number of TV Academy voters too, who are in the business and who can appreciate just the work that he's done over the years. Yeah.
And I think he'll probably get in for directing because he directed the finale, which is the most bonkers thing you probably have ever seen. And then we have The Network, the new thing with John Leguizamo, which they're giving a push to. Not like, it's not going to be noisy like Netflix, but it is out there. And it's actually for a show that was going to be a movie and then morphed into a TV show, it's actually pretty good. It is a good throwback.
I just don't know anyone. I don't think anyone has found it.
I mean, I don't think anyone's found a lot of these in ways. Like I still can't meet anyone in real life that's watched The New Look.
No, same.
At all. And Dark Winds, like, great year for Indigenous actors, but that's all resting on the shoulders of Reservation Dogs.
Right.
Res Dogs. Although Dark Winds is really good too. John McLaren is fantastic. So
is it how many episodes a season? Is it 8 or 10?
It's like around there, 7 or 8.
Right. Good. Yeah. See, that's the way you do it. And I know we're not talking about it, but I just have to mention that we had our finale of Abbott Elementary last week.
Oh my gosh. So good.
Yeah. Save it for the comedy episode.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Like, I think best season yet.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk about comedy is crazy.
It's a good drama.
Yeah.
So it's a good drama that should move on.
Okay. Well, we'll be talking about that soon. All right. So let's jump into supporting actress. You got Debicki at the top.
Yeah.
Debicki and everybody else.
Yeah.
Undefeated for the season. But she's going to be there with Leslie Manville, and probably will pull in Olivia Williams. And then you have the Shogun ladies, who I feel good about. However, in the most sensitive way I could say this, I don't trust TV Academy members at large to be able to know which actor that they're voting for when it's not an American actor in the running.
And I have to say, I feel like we might see a little similar thing we saw in the supporting categories when it came to Succession and The White Lotus, where it was only 2 shows in the whole category. Because like you said, you have multiple people from The Crown. You have Christine Baranski and Cynthia Nixon for Gilded Age. You have literally everybody from The Morning Show. Yeah. I mean, Nicole Beharie, Greta Lee, Holland Taylor, Juliana Margulies, Karen Pittman, they're all incredible. I
mean, that scene between Nicole Beharie and Holland Taylor,
that alone would get them both in there.
That's like an Emmy reel right there.
And Greta Lee, the one in the restaurant, for me, is that I can't.
And Greta Lee's having a moment.
Yes,
so of course she's going to get nominated.
Yeah.
I just jinxed it for you. Sorry, Greta Lee. Sorry, Greta Lee. All right, so that's supporting actress. Why don't we hit supporting actor then in drama?
That seems very tilted in The Crown's favor, because you're going to have Jonathan Pryce, who got snubbed last time, but Khalid Abdallah, who plays,
Diana, the man that was dating Diana.
Dodi, thank you.
Al-Fayed.
Thank you. Then that plays his father, Salim Daw, that I think is going to come into that. You have the 2 Shogun guys. I think Tadanobu Asano probably is the safest bet, because he is the scene stealer and a great part of that show. Mm-hmm. And then Morning Show will have all the handsome men, Billy Crudup and John Hamm and Mark Duplass to battle with.
Did you just say Duplass?
Is it Duplass?
No, it's Duplass.
Is it Duplass? I think he's never.
Is he French?
This is back to
the name thing.
I've been calling him Duplass, and I see him. I say Mark Duplass, and he says hello. every time.
Because he's a kind man.
Wait till he calls you out on
Years ago.
stage.
Yeah.
I'm making.
Just wait.
Maybe he liked the sound of it. Maybe
Maybe he does. It sounds fancier.
Also, is it Duplass or Duplass? I think it's Duplass,
Duplass.
right?
Oh boy.
Or is it
Oh,
Duplass?
guys are throwing stones
He's
through
gonna-
glass
Pleading the
houses.
fifth.
Send us an email and be like,
I want to
I
say
hope
that
so.
we also could, and this is someone I know that Clayton mentioned too, that I feel like we should not count out Nathan Lane for the Gilded Age. Because
Yes.
who doesn't love Nathan Lane?
Voters love Nathan Lane.
They love
so you got to
The
keep
industry
him in
loves
the
him.
mix. But I mean, Billy Crudup is the. I mean, he's won in the past, so he does feel like a front runner. But there is John Hamm because as I say, everything goes better with Hamm.
And then with that, you might have a Benny Safdie get ride in with the curse, and you also have Kiyu Kwan. If Loki does end up being a thing, like who doesn't want Kiyu Kwan jumping
you're
around
gonna do
that
this too.
theater?
Yeah.
Totally.
Just being the amazing one he is. But also, Mike, and back to an article that you wrote about Winning Time. I think Winning Time's going to show up somewhere doing something.
I
And
hope so.
This is probably the easiest spot for it to get in with like an Adrian Brody or
Or a John C. Riley.
John C.
John C.
Yeah,
Riley.
I really hope so.
Yeah, it'd be nice just to sort of tell HBO
Give it the right
that
sign off.
They made
Messed
a
up.
mistake. You done messed up.
What are you thinking,
Yeah.
HBO?
That was a shame. There's a couple of heartbreaking sort of cancellations this year. So
Yeah, there was.
yeah. All right, gang. Well, next week we will tackle the comedy acting races. Multiple. Oh, we are running on
Guys,
fumes
oh
here.
my
it's
God.
a holiday
more
week.
race.
It's a holiday week. It's
only-
a shortened week. We're all struggling.
Yeah. All right. Well, check it out. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
After the break, we talk to Hack stars Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder. From Los Angeles, this is the Award Circuit Podcast. And we're back. It's the Variety Award Circuit Podcast, and I'm Michael Schneider. Season 3 of Hacks opens with Deborah Vance, played by Emmy winner Gene Smart, a bit bored with the wild success she's now experiencing. The time has come for her to pursue a new goal. She decides to campaign, both in public and in Hollywood backrooms, for a newly opened late-night hosting chair. And after their falling out, Ava, played by Hannah Einbinder, winds up back for the ride.
Ava, you have a hiatus coming up for your show, right? Do you have any plans?
Are you serious?
She slapped you, she sued you, you said she was toxic.
I said
Ava,
that stuff when I was mad at her. I would love to set some boundaries for our working relationship. I would like you to stop handing me things that have been inside your mouth. And no more jokes about the size of my hands.
Oh, come on, now those are grandfathered in.
What do you want?
What I want is to rip my mom a new asshole. So my roast jokes are gold, but what I'm struggling with is my catchphrase.
Catchphrase?
Yeah, every good comedian has a catchphrase.
What a cunt! Oh, wow. That is strong.
Bob Lipka is here. He's the CEO of the conglomerate that owns the network.
Deborah Vance. I'm a big fan.
Of my comedy?
Of your everything.
Oh.
Billionaires shouldn't exist.
Oh, yes. Extremely successful, high-achieving people must be stopped.
Why don't you put out a press release saying that you want...
Oh, God, no. A woman can't just come out and say what she wants. That looks...
Thirsty.
Do what you want. I'll just be quiet and keep eating these cookies.
Those are dog biscuits.
I'm aware they're delicious.
I recently met up with Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder to talk about Season 3 of Hacks. So, spoiler warning, we talk quite a bit about the season finale and how the dynamic between Deborah and Ava has shifted again. At the end of the episode, Ava pulls a power play on Deborah, and although she's gobsmacked, there's a part of her that has to admire the move by her protege.
Like Dr. Frankenstein with his monster.
What did you guys think of this twist?
I was surprised. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was great.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming at all. But it I think it makes sense. I think it's kind of about time, ultimately.
Yeah.
Eve Harrington.
Yeah, if anything, it's exactly what Ava's learned from Deborah, and there is that great fake out where Ava's buying that champagne. You think it's going to be a mea culpa, and she's going to be willing to accept the number 2 position, but no, she's guns a-blazing. What do you think happened to that moment with Ava, Hannah?
You just lean back a little bit for audio.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So what?
I think she's going to regret it. It's like when I slapped her and she sent that horrible email, and later she goes, "Oh, I just was really angry. I shouldn't."
Yeah, I mean, I think in that moment where she's buying the champagne, I think it is this reminder of obviously a comment that Deborah's an allusion to, you're only lonely when you got to open a bottle of champagne, as Deborah divulges to Ava on their little moment on the hike. And I think she just realizes that, like, she's there sulking. She's buying, like, some tall boy hard seltzer or something. And it's just all kind of culminated. And she's taking Jimmy's advice in a sense, but she's also taking ownership over what she has to do. Deborah's given her no other choice. So I think it's a beautiful misdirect, and that was a great moment that I feel like we found through Lucia's direction of, like, wanting that moment to be ambiguous enough that if you rewatch it, you can see on Ava's face that she's actually going to go do something crazy, but also there's a textured element to the performance where, oh yeah, you do think there's going to be a little bit of a reunion, but no. Alas, no.
Yeah, because there's a part of me that's like, you know what, if I'm Ava, I'm kind of fine with being number 2, because if this thing explodes, then it's not her to blame.
Exactly.
She kind of comes out scot-free.
No.
Exactly.
No, but it won't work if she's number 2.
Well, I never should have offered her number 1 in the first place. That was my mistake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I disagree.
If I had just said, "Will you come and be, in my writer's room?" or something.
it was a strangely tender gesture by Deborah at that moment, where she's become so much more vulnerable with Ava than she ever has been with anyone else. That she was
took advantage of that.
Oh, is that so?
Let my guard down.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Play the victim, Derba.
Durba. That's what she calls me. Durba Vance. Yeah, no, I mean, I was kind of dismayed at how, because Deborah, I mean, she's getting her comeuppance this season.
Mm-hmm.
She's got this reckoning with her daughter, her sister. So like, if they identify my daughter, my mother, with her, and it's just, it kind of keeps getting thrown back in her face that what a horrible person.
Well, but it's countered by the fact that she's never been more successful in her entire career. So she's kind of having this reckoning, but at the same time, she's still kind of on top of the world, but she's dangerously close to falling back off and once again becoming that hack that the show title is all about.
Right.
And she kind of needs Ava again to, like, sort of make sure that she doesn't slip back and fall into that again.
Yeah, no, she's right. I mean, the good thing about the show is that they both take turns being right. No one's all right or all wrong, which is good. But yeah, no, it's Deborah's ambition is a little unnerving in this episode.
Well, now Ava finally has her ambition as well, because, I mean, Ava takes it really hard this season too, and in sort of destroying her relationship, choosing Deborah over her girlfriend, and she's sort of lost too. But at the end of this season, they both kind of they have this newfound, like, they're going into season 4 now. There's momentum for both of them, and I mean, they've set up a season 4 that you can already see is going to be like fireworks.
I know. I can't even imagine what they're going to do. Like, I mean, I don't want to really know yet.
Yeah.
Did you
She
feel?
just didn't want to go to Iceland. That was the whole problem.
Yeah, that's because they would have actually shot hacks in Iceland
and sat in a gliglu.
A gliglu.
A gliglu.
Glam igloo. Could be shaped.
For weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah. But don't you feel like the end of season 2, there was that real question of, well, the show kind of wrapped up. Where does it go from here? There's like, they've kind of like already Deborah's back. Ava's done her job. There's nowhere else to go. Now you feel like at the end of season 3, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a new mountain to climb, I think, for these women. I think in any creative industry, the top gets higher the more that you climb. And so there will always be an endless well for them to conquer, especially because...
Well said.
Oh, thank you, darling.
I'm impressed.
Well, I'll be okay. But yeah, I think there will always be, whether it's creative or professional or personal. That's right. There will always be something for these women to face, I feel.
No, my hat is off to our writer producers yet again. They've seemed to have outdone themselves.
Yeah. No, it's there is something special about this relationship among all of you, the cast and also, Paul and Jen and Lucia and all of you too, that, I've mentioned this to you guys before in that you all have gone through so much together as a group that it feels like it's just bonded all of you even more. I mean, I look at the two of you and kind of just the back and forth that the two of you now have. You have your little inside jokes. You're sort of, there's something really special too about this relationship that you two have sort of grown over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you.
Love you too.
I know it wasn't really a question, was it? But how, in seeing the two of you, and I've, had a chance to see you guys a couple of times, Jean, you recently gave Hannah an award at a variety event.
Variety?
Yes, it's all about variety. But
Spice of life.
It was sort of exactly. It was touching to see the two of you even backstage sort of share moments together and get emotional. And you two have been through a lot together. How would you kind of characterize what it's been like to kind of get together and sort of develop this relationship on screen, but also off screen?
I'm just so proud of her. I mean, she's just exploded, professionally, and just, I told her I want 5%, but we haven't settled the final terms yet.
So not quite a manager, not quite a agent, but sort of a half agent.
Yeah, I might go down as low as 4. But I mean, she's off to Paris doing Fashion Week, and she's doing, flying hither and yon, doing things. Now she's got her big special coming, and she's gonna be living with her son.
Seriously, you've created a monster.
Yeah. They say on set that I have perpetual PA energy. Like, I'm always just kind of, I won't sit in a chair. I'll just be squatting. Like, anybody need something from Crafty? Okay, let me know. So I think my inherent disposition is does not permit me.
She hasn't changed. She's not going to change. And I'm too old to change. So.
Now, are you going to go to the taping of Hannah's special, or Hannah, would that be too nerve-wracking to
heckle her?
Yeah,
I'll need to hear that very distinct laugh to know I'm doing well.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait. I think it's so cool.
And Jean's seen my hour before a couple times, so
yeah.
So good.
Now on the big stage.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting too. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, it obviously it took a while for this season to come out for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But Jean, I wanted to ask you, I mean, first off, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Good.
You seem great.
Good, yeah.
And
I was lucky, and she came to visit me when I was first in the hospital. And did we play cards?
We played Rummy Cube.
Rummy Cube.
Yeah.
And
it was fun. It's as fun as it could be, I guess.
Yeah.
But we both are kind of the family clowns of our respective upbringings, and so I feel like we both have it in us to, bring lightness and laughter to even the darkest of situations. And that's kind of how it goes with us, regardless of what it is that we're going through at any given time. As you said, through the show, there's been a lot that's happened, and we just try to get through it the only way we know how, I guess. Only way out is through.
I'm sure that must have been, I mean, obviously scary for Jean, but scary for everyone who loves Jean and works with Jean. And what was that like, Hannah, when you knew that Jean was going through something?
I have said this before, she is like a titanium woman. She really is the Terminator. You just can't get her. You are so strong. Yeah, well, you're just so strong, and I like Jean said, I'm really glad that she got in, she got checked, everything, went when it needed to, and she was able to just recover in peace, and I'm just like always blown away by how strong she is.
Well, I just felt so bad that I put everybody out of work for 3 months.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone cared about anything.
Well, because I feel the responsibility, of the whole group.
Yeah, but everyone just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Which she is.
I can only imagine. And then in some ways, the strikes were a little serendipitous, allowing you to sort of
selfishly
recover
for me, yes.
a little bit more.
And we went back to work for 5 days after I initially, recovered. But and then the strike started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Hannah, how was your strike? As they say, what was that experience like to sort of have to kind of sit down and wait for the industry to kind of work through everything?
Well, we picketed pretty often, and when I wasn't doing that, I was going on walks with friends and listening to a lot of Brian Eno. I was sexually and politically radicalized, just chill, picked up smoking, quit smoking, just did little things here and there.
You quit smoking and started again?
Well, I started and then I quit.
Oh, so you've quit? You're quitting now? You're
I've
off
quit.
now? Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
cigarettes.
That's good.
I smoked them for like 2 months, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
That's good. It's the most dramatic change you can make in your health, by the way.
Quitting cigarettes?
Yeah, more than exercising, more than diet, more than anything is quitting smoking.
Yeah.
I know we started this conversation by talking about things that kill you, and we did like the obvious ones where like, there's the plastics, but the cigarettes, that's pretty well established.
That's right. Yes. That's right. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear your health is better too.
Yeah.
So we're both feeling,
the girls are back.
The girls are back. But and I think from what I've heard and seen from everyone who's seen season 3 so far, there's a feeling that this is kind of the best season so far. How are
That's what people are saying, yeah.
How are you all feeling?
I feel that way too.
Well, I love it because it shows you how invested the people are now in the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. And also, too, I feel like all the other characters as well have also been kind of brought up and given more to do. And just, everybody, Damien and Meg and Paul, they're just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rose and Carl.
The Jimmy Kayla stuff is a show in itself.
My God.
And
so hilarious.
And I love Deborah's reaction to she has
Kayla.
no time for Kayla. It's just like, this woman with my agent, manager, she serves no purpose.
God, that scene on the airplane, he's trying to talk her into
that woman.
And that woman thinks he's proposing. Oh my God, it's hysterical.
It is funny.
The one thing we haven't...
I said yes.
I know, that's good, that final moment. We haven't yet seen how Marcus is going to break it to Deborah that he's leaving. That's something that I'm really anxious for in season 4, as a matter of fact. I'm
Wait,
nervous.
what?
We shot it just didn't make the final. They ended up not...
Oh, that's right. They didn't put that scene in.
Yeah.
Oh, we shot that scene.
So that was actually written in.
So it's actually... at some point we may...
that's right. It didn't end up final. Oh.
I'm sure Deborah takes a grade.
Pretty much. She doesn't have to do a Damien when she finds out that scene was hilarious.
I don't want to learn it.
Don't leave me.
I would think more she places a hit on him, but maybe he
knows too much.
Grown too.
Yeah, really. He knows where everything's buried.
Yeah.
No, she was sort of tried to be understanding.
Yeah. Hannah, do you have a favorite Jean Smart, beyond Hacks, of course, a favorite Jean Smart role or show or...
my personal favorite is Watchmen. I think that character is so radical, and I just love you as a redhead, darling.
So much fun.
I think Deborah should have red hair this season.
I get to do the stuff that guys always get to do.
Yeah.
You want to be a badass FBI agent, can't talk. Yeah. And shoot people. It was great.
Yes.
Yeah. It was part of Gene Smart's badass era.
Yeah.
It was-
That
and,
was
at this stage
so
of the game,
sick.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was so sick. It was so cool. I mean, I loved that series, but I just thought Gene was so perfect in that role.
No, but that was I was very proud of that show. I thought that show accomplished something very special.
Yeah.
That was one I could not believe. I mean, I know it was limited, but I was like, please more.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they begged him. He said, nope.
I love that.
Left it all out there on the field.
Stunning.
Yeah, no, between that and Fargo and 24 and the whole, by the way,
The canon.
the canon.
The smart canon.
My I told my dad on the drive over that I was talking to the two of you, and he's like, ask her about Hawaii 5-0. He loved you as the governor of Hawaii.
I was on that very briefly.
I know. He still talks about
But that was fun because I got to get shot and killed on camera, so that was sort of fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they brought in a stunt woman, but they didn't need her. I said, I can die by myself. Thank you very much.
Speaking of stunt women, by the way, the moment where Deborah does a keg stand at the frat.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
They have to talk you out of doing your own stunts.
Well, I only did part of that.
So funny. It looks so.
Apparently, that's
seamless.
a thing.
It looks
People
pretty
do.
good.
A keg stand?
And for some reason, it's supposed to
You
make
not
you drunker faster or something.
Does it?
That's what they say.
Wow.
Drinking upside down. Mm-hmm.
Have to try it.
Kids today.
Mm-hmm.
Do the two of you have favorite moments from this season that you go back to?
I think the golf episode is so fun. I also think that college is fun. Like, I think when Ava's breaking the news to Deborah that there's a clip going around.
That's right.
I think that was so fun to shoot. We did some like not a lot, not all of it made the final cut, but that day we just were like improvising, like continuing on fighting, and it was just so fun to play in that scenario and just like improvise scenes.
I have to say, I had a very, very good time with our actors who played my potential Christmas elves.
Yes.
They were having a blast. We had a really good time. That was sort of fun. And her reaction to it just cracked me up.
So funny.
And also too when she got to guest host the talk show, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, my idea, and I've pitched this to HBO already, is since next season will be sort of more about that talk show, is if you actually were to host several episodes of the fictional talk show with real guests, and they should do it as a sort of a side show.
What do you mean?
So
like episodes that are purely the Deborah Vance show, and they write a full show.
And then it
outside of
appears
the
even
narrative.
on Max on a tile as the Deborah Vance show.
Oh my God.
You mean like a separate show?
Yeah, like a separate show where you in character are hosting a late night talk show.
I'm not sure that'd be a good idea.
Shit.
As an actor, I'm not sure that'd be a good idea.
Are you?
Like, Gene Smart's hosting a talk show. No,
Deborah Vance is
she's not.
hosting a talk show.
People don't make, yeah. They don't need any more reason to not make that delineation, you know?
Oh, I see.
I mean, you're probably used to by now people assuming that you're your characters.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is you don't want to encourage that.
Yeah. I mean, what is that like for the two of you to, now that you've been doing this for several seasons, now are you finding that people think you're Ava and Deborah Vance, or are people still able to kind of separate the character from the person?
I don't really know. I think probably. I think like, yeah, I mean, I think our characters are definitely like heightened individuals. Like they are, Deborah is this very extreme person. She's, over the top in a lot of ways, her lifestyle, all of these things. And I think Ava is like this representation of like her generation and the scene that she's a part of, and like the comedy community in LA and a lot of other things like that. So I think, I mean,
I haven't had anybody say anything weird like they really think I'm exactly like her or that I am her or something.
Yeah.
But I remember when my husband was doing 30-something, he was doing a recurring character on 30-something where he was playing Polly Draper's married lover. Women would come up to him in the supermarket and start screaming at him.
Oh my God.
Thinking, With you.
Yeah, I don't think.
Usually that's
I don't
soap
experience
soap
that.
fans. They get a little
Yeah.
weird. But yeah, this was a 30-something fans.
That's funny. I mean, and people, I think they understand the separation, but yet they can't help themselves, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Hannah, there were a lot of people who didn't like Ava in season 1.
Yes, that's right.
And how did you deal with that?
You know, it did hurt my feelings. I definitely felt protective of her, and I understand what people are picking up on, but you know, I think it indicates like I don't know. It's very easy to point to Ava and kind of misunderstand her. I think it just takes like a more of an investigation and more empathy to understand why she was acting the way she was. And I think she's come a long way. And I've actually, you know, of the fraction of the Discord, I'm not like, I don't have Twitter and I haven't for years, but like whenever I do see things, like I feel like season 1, I was seeing more people being like, you know, she's so annoying. And now I feel like people are being like, I love her. So it's nice to see her get some justice.
Yeah.
And she's upped her game with the quips and the clever retorts as well.
Definitely.
So I think people can appreciate that now more. And you're smart to not be on Twitter /X. Or whatever
yeah.
It is
X.
now.
It's such a shame because some of the funniest stuff ever is on Twitter. Like even when I left like and deleted my account, I just was like, God, it's like some of the funniest stuff ever, but it's equally filled with just the dreck of humanity.
Is that why you deleted your account? Or was it just...
I just was like, well, there were also like, you know, when you're like, I feel like when I would tweet about like being Jewish and, you know, like Nazi trolls would find me and just
Are you
like
kidding
whatever.
me?
Yeah, like towards the end. And I was like, fuck it. No, it doesn't. It literally would not faze me at all. Honestly. I just, you know, a small weak man behind a keyboard is like it doesn't even register.
That's
for me
true. You
properly.
have to consider the source.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, good. Don't want you to like me.
Right. And consider the platform.
Yeah.
See, I've never done Twitter or Facebook, but my children did convince me, and my publicist and my manager convinced me that I needed to have an Instagram account.
Your Instagram goes hard.
So my former assistant helped me set one up, but I never do anything with it. So.
Yeah, Instagram's probably the least problematic of all those platforms, since it's still just people mostly posting photos of their dinner and,
That's right.
and their cat. So.
I'm cool with that. That's my vibe. That's what I have.
That's the food post. That's what kills me. I don't get it.
People really, really want to share their food with you.
I want to see your ratatouille really badly.
Yeah, we mentioned comedy and Hannah's comedy special, and really, especially this season, you know, Hacks dives into the state of comedy and, you know, pays tribute to comedy, but also kind of dives in a little bit to the precarious time we are in, you know, sort of the world of comedy. And, you know, Hannah, especially as a stand-up, you know, how do you think Hacks kind of approaches the world of comedy and stand-up, and you know, are you ever sort of talking to Paul Lucia and Jen and saying, hey, this is kind of what I'm feeling these days and what it's like to be a stand-up and the struggles and the minefields that we're sort of navigating?
Well, I think Deborah has a far different experience than I have, you know, and I think there are a lot of comedians in our writer's room, Carol Leifer being one of them, you know, who can speak more to the experience that would be true to hers. I have had, you know, I've been very lucky to have a good run. You know, look, do I deal with like weird comments and things and interactions, you know, in green rooms and men condescending, you know, and just all of these things? Sure. But it's in no way on the level of, frankly, so many of my peers today and so many women that came before me. So I'm very lucky in that way. But, I think because we have comics writing the show, they're able to speak to the state of things. And so that's why it feels really authentic to me. We talk about it, sure, but we're all really on the same page, Paul, Jen, Lucia, and I, about like really the state of comedy, because they also come from the world of comedy. So yeah, it feels very in line. And when I read the drafts and I read Ava's perspective on the state of things, like I feel pretty aligned with what she's saying, because usually Ava's representing the perspective of Paul, Jen, and Lucia, like that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's good to, you're right in having veterans like Carol Leifer there on staff too, who I'm sure has stories.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Stories that would horrify the masses, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Jean, what do you, what?
Well, I just thought of something. I don't know if I should say it.
I don't know. Is it something that should happen to her? No, it's fine. What do you got?
I should narrate. They are whispering right now to each other.
Oh, where at?
Remember
at
that little comedy club we were at?
Oh, yeah. You can say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was sort of got a little wake up call or a little lesson anyway. I think it was that season? That was season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1, we were working at a little comedy club in North Hollywood, I think. And we were in the hallway, and there were all these framed pictures on the wall of all the people that had performed there. And most of them were actual comics that had performed at that little club. And then they had doctored up one of me when I'm younger, showing me on stage. And between scenes, we were just standing there sort of talking, and she was looking at the wall. And it was kind of shocking because she kind of looked and she went, rapist, rapist, rapist,
Flasher, harasser,
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's kind of the vibe down at stand-up comedy.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's kind of the vibe. They're out there and they are working. So,
Yeah, we talk about this a lot in the office, how, for all this talk of quote unquote cancel culture.
Yep.
People aren't really canceled.
No.
I mean, there are a lot of people who are doing just fine, who, even though we know a lot about their past.
Yep.
So, another non-question for us.
So sorry, I've just brought everything down. I'm so sorry.
We're going to go back and talk about things that kill us now.
Totally.
So we're talking about...
you bring the comedy girls on,
dryers.
it's going to be sad. Okay?
I learned that hair dryers may kill you from Gene Smart today.
Blow dryers. Yes,
Blow dryers, yes. So people be very careful. What's the word on season 4, by the way? When things go back to work? Have you?
Well, it won't be official until sometime in May.
In terms of like the announcement, and then
So then I guess by the time this airs, it will have been announced.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, congratulations!
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
And then a sense of when you might be back filming.
Early fall, I think.
Yeah, September, I think.
So
That's what they're shooting for.
very exciting. So no more strikes, hopefully. No more pandemics. We got those out of our system. I mean, democracy may die by the time we go to another season. But that's a whole other topic.
Friend, it already has.
That's another podcast.
Another podcast. But in the meantime, again, glad to have Hacks back in our lives.
Thank you.
For hopefully a long time to come.
Yeah.
Thank
Always a pleasure to see the two
you.
of
You too.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's Hack Stars, Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder. Catch up on all of Season 3, now streaming on Max. And that's it for this edition of Variety's Award Circuit podcast. Aaron Greenewald edited this episode, and Michael Schneider is the producer. Be sure to subscribe to the Award Circuit podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Award Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tanke, Emily Longaretta, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider, and we'll see you on the circuit.